First contact gone wrong. The starship Gentle Current drifted through the cosmic void like a silver needle threading through black silk. Its elegant curves reflected the distant light of a binary star system, the hull designed more for beauty than battle. Commander Zephyr stood on the observation deck, all four of her crystalline eyes focused on the sensor readings displayed before her. The Vorthak had evolved on a world of eternal twilight, and their vision could detect energy patterns invisible to most species. The Gentle Current served as a deep space explorer for the Vorthak Confederation, a peaceful alliance of 12 different species spread across 47 star systems. For over 3 centuries they had expanded through exploration and diplomacy, never encountering a species they couldn't eventually befriend. Their technology focused on science, art, and philosophy rather than warfare. The very concept of building weapons capable of destroying entire worlds was foreign to them. Zephyr's communications officer, a gentle being called Whisper, whose species communicated through harmonic vibrations, approached with obvious concern. The patterns of light across Whisper's translucent skin indicated anxiety. "Commander, we have detected an energy signature approximately 2 light hours away. It does not match any known Confederation vessel or previously cataloged alien technology." The discovery sparked immediate interest throughout the ship. First contact protocols were among the most celebrated procedures in Confederation space. Each new species brought fresh perspectives, new art forms, and expanded understanding of the universe. Zephyr felt the familiar excitement that came with potential discovery. "Adjust our heading to intercept," she ordered, her voice carrying the musical quality typical of her species. "Maintain safe distance and prepare all communication arrays. This could be our greatest discovery yet." The Gentle Current changed course smoothly, its advanced engines producing no visible exhaust or energy waste. As they approached the source of the mysterious readings, the ship's sensors began painting a clearer picture. What emerged from the data made Zephyr pause in confusion. The vessel ahead was massive beyond anything in Confederation experience. Initial scans suggested a length of nearly 2 kilometers, with a hull composition that seemed designed to absorb rather than reflect energy. Strange geometric patterns covered its surface, and as they drew closer, these patterns resolved into something that made Zephyr's blood run cold. Weapon emplacements, hundreds of them. "By the eternal stars," whispered her science officer, a being whose species had given up all forms of violence over a millennium ago. "Commander, this vessel appears to be designed entirely for combat. I count over 300 separate weapon systems." Zephyr felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold of space. In all their centuries of exploration, the Confederation had never encountered a truly militaristic species. Wars were things of ancient history, problems solved by evolution and wisdom. Yet here before them was a ship that could only have one purpose: the destruction of other vessels. Meanwhile, aboard the human dreadnought Prometheus, Captain Sarah Chen was reviewing routine patrol reports in her ready room. The walls displayed star charts of the local sector, marked with shipping lanes and colony positions. Chen was a career military officer, but she had spent more time protecting merchant vessels and responding to distress calls than engaging in actual combat. Humanity's expansion into space had been remarkably peaceful once they had moved beyond their own solar system. The Prometheus represented the pinnacle of human military engineering, but its primary missions involved disaster relief, colony protection, and maintaining safe passage for civilian ships. Chen took pride in the fact that her weapons had never been fired in anger, only in training exercises and asteroid-clearing operations. "Captain," called Lieutenant Rodriguez from the bridge communication station, "we're receiving an automated proximity alert. Unknown vessel detected at the edge of sensor range." Chen made her way to the bridge, coffee mug in hand. The main view screen showed the tactical display with a single contact approaching slowly. "Any response to our standard greeting?" "Negative, Captain. The vessel appears to be scanning us but hasn't acknowledged our hails." Chen studied the readout. The approaching ship was small compared to the Prometheus, probably a scout or research vessel. Its energy signature suggested advanced but unfamiliar technology. "Maintain current heading and continue broadcasting on all frequencies. Let's see if we can establish communication." Unknown to both crews, they were about to trigger a series of events that would reshape interstellar politics in this region of space. As the gentle current approached within visual range, Zephyr ordered maximum magnification on the main viewer. What she saw defied her understanding of engineering and purpose. The human warship was a dark mountain of metal and weapons, bristling with offensive systems that could level cities. Armor plating covered every surface, and the ship's very design spoke of a species that had spent generations perfecting the art of warfare. "Commander?" Whisper's harmonic voice carried notes of fear. "I'm detecting multiple targeting systems. Activating. They're scanning our ship." What Whisper couldn't know was that the Prometheus's automated defense systems had detected the alien vessel and begun standard identification procedures. The ship's computer, designed with human paranoia and military efficiency, immediately began cataloging potential threats and response options. Red warning lights activated across the hull as systems powered up to combat readiness. From Zephyr's perspective, the massive human warship had just revealed its true nature. Weapon ports that had been concealed suddenly became visible as they powered up. Energy readings spiked dramatically as the ship's main reactor fed power to what could only be planet-killing weapons. The entire hull seemed to glow with malevolent red energy. "Emergency jump protocol," Zephyr commanded, her musical voice cracking with terror. "All power to the quantum drive. Prepare for immediate departure." The Gentle Current's crew scrambled to comply. Their peaceful ship had never been designed for combat situations or rapid escapes. As the jump drive powered up, the ship's sensors took one final detailed scan of the human vessel. The data they collected would haunt the Confederation for months to come. The scan revealed weapon systems capable of destroying entire fleets, armor that could withstand direct hits from their most powerful mining tools, and energy readings that suggested the ship could operate continuously for years without resupply. Most terrifying of all, the scan indicated this was just a patrol vessel, not even a main battle cruiser. In a flash of twisted space-time, the Gentle Current vanished, leaving Captain Chen and her crew staring at empty space. "Well, that was unexpected," Chen muttered, setting down her coffee mug. "Any idea why they left so suddenly?" "Unknown, Captain," Rodriguez replied. "They disappeared right after our defense grid completed its identification scan." "Maybe we scared them?" Chen considered this possibility. The Prometheus could certainly appear intimidating to a species unfamiliar with human military doctrine. Their ships were built to project strength and discourage aggression through obvious defensive capability. Unfortunately, what humans saw as protective deterrence, the Vorthak had interpreted as aggressive intent. "Stand down from alert status," Chen ordered. "File a standard first contact report and continue patrol. If they want to talk, they know where to find us." She had no way of knowing that her routine patrol had just been interpreted as a scouting mission for an invasion fleet. 3 days later, the Gentle Current limped into Confederation space, its quantum drive damaged from the emergency jump. "Commander," Zephyr requested immediate priority communication with the High Council, transmitting her sensor data, along with a message that sent shockwaves through peaceful Confederation space. "Urgent communication to all Council members," her recorded message began. "We have encountered a species unlike any in our experience. They appear to be a militaristic civilization with technology specifically designed for warfare on a massive scale. Their single patrol vessel could destroy our largest cities. We may be facing the first truly hostile alien species in Confederation history." The message spread through Confederation space like wildfire. For the first time in centuries, the Peaceful Alliance faced the possibility of an external threat they couldn't simply negotiate away. Emergency sessions were called, defense protocols were dusted off and updated, and a general sense of unease settled over billions of beings who had never known fear of the unknown. High Counselor Thymus, eldest of the Vorthak and leader of the Confederation, studied the sensor data with growing alarm. The readings showed weapon systems beyond their ability to counter, defensive technology that rendered their peaceful ships helpless, and most disturbing of all, evidence that this was standard equipment for the unknown species. "If they have sent scouts," Thymus told the emergency council session, "then a fleet may follow. We must assume hostile intent and prepare accordingly." For the first time in over 300 years, the Confederation began preparing for war. Peaceful research stations were evacuated. Civilian shipping was restricted to inner systems, and desperate messages were sent to every member species requesting information about military technologies their ancestors might have abandoned. None of them realized they were preparing to fight the most defensive-minded species they would ever encounter. Fear and understanding. The Confederation Central Command buzzed with activity as species representatives arrived from across known space. The vast circular chamber, normally used for peaceful debates about trade routes and cultural exchanges, now hosted discussions about planetary defense and evacuation procedures. Holographic displays showed star charts marked with potential threat vectors and fallback positions. High Counselor Thymus stood before the assembled representatives, his ancient form showing signs of stress that hadn't been present in decades. The crystalline beings of his species aged slowly, but the weight of potential war had added new lines to his translucent features. "Fellow members of the Confederation," he began, his voice carrying the formal tones reserved for grave occasions, "we face an unprecedented situation. Commander Zephyr's encounter has shown us a species that appears to have evolved along completely different paths than our own. Where we chose peace, they chose war. Where we built for beauty, they built for destruction." The sensor data from the gentle current played on screens throughout the chamber. Representatives from 12 different species watched in horrified fascination as the human warship revealed its capabilities. Weapon systems that could sterilize worlds, armor that could withstand asteroid impacts, and power sources that suggested technology focused entirely on conflict. Agent Kairos, one of the Confederation's few intelligence operatives, stepped forward. His species, the Nethys, possessed natural camouflage abilities that made them ideal for covert observation. "High Counselor, I request permission to investigate these beings further. We need to understand their capabilities and intentions before we can formulate an appropriate response." Thymus nodded gravely. "Granted, but exercise extreme caution. If their patrol vessels are this heavily armed, approaching their territory may be tantamount to suicide." Kairos bowed in the traditional manner of his people. "I will gather information without making contact. Knowledge is our greatest weapon against the unknown." 2 weeks later, Kairos piloted a heavily modified scout ship toward the coordinates where the gentle current had encountered the human vessel. His ship, the Silent Observer, incorporated the best stealth technology the Confederation could produce. Its hull bent light around it, its engines produced no detectable emissions, and its sensor arrays could gather information from vast distances without revealing their presence. The journey to human space took him through regions the Confederation had marked for future exploration. Kairos was surprised to find these areas largely empty of military presence. For a supposedly aggressive species, the humans seemed to maintain very light patrols in their border regions. As he approached the ideal coordinates of the first encounter, Kairos detected multiple energy signatures. A small fleet of human vessels was conducting what appeared to be training exercises. He positioned his ship behind a large asteroid and began long-range observation. What he witnessed challenged every assumption the Confederation had made about humanity. The human ships were indeed heavily armed, but their exercises focused on rescue operations and disaster response. He watched as they practiced extracting civilians from damaged stations, coordinating relief efforts for simulated natural disasters, and providing escort protection for merchant vessels. Captain Chen's Prometheus served as the command ship for these exercises. Kairos observed as the massive dreadnought used its fearsome weapons to clear debris fields that might threaten civilian ships. The same energy cannons that could destroy enemy vessels were being used to pulverize asteroids and create safe passage for non-military traffic. "Fascinating," Kairos whispered to his ship's recorder. "Their military technology appears designed for protection rather than conquest. They build weapons not to attack others, but to defend what they value." Over the following days, Kairos intercepted human communications and began to understand their language through advanced translation software. What he learned revolutionized his understanding of the species they had feared. The humans spoke constantly of protection duties, of keeping shipping lanes safe, of responding to emergencies across their territory. Their military served as a combination of Coast Guard, disaster response team, and police force. The massive weapons that had terrified the Confederation were tools used to protect the weak and maintain order. More surprising still was the diversity of human civilian life. Kairos detected vast cities, research stations, art colonies, and exploration vessels. The humans had built a civilization that celebrated creativity, scientific advancement, and cultural achievement. Their warships existed to protect this peaceful civilization, not to spread it through conquest. The revelation came when Kairos witnessed an actual emergency response. A research station at the edge of human space had suffered a catastrophic failure. The facility conducting experiments in exotic matter had lost containment and was threatening to create a gravity well that would destroy everything in the system. The station sent out desperate distress calls as its automated systems failed. One by one, Captain Chen's response was immediate and decisive. The Prometheus and its escort ships dropped everything and rushed to the emergency coordinates. Kairos followed at a safe distance, his curiosity overcoming his caution. What he witnessed over the next 18 hours forever changed how the Confederation would view humanity. The Prometheus arrived to find the research station breaking apart under gravitational stresses no conventional ship could survive. The exotic matter experiment had created an unstable singularity that was slowly consuming the station and threatening to expand beyond control. Rather than maintaining safe distance, Captain Chen ordered her ship directly into the danger zone. The Prometheus's massive armor and powerful shields allowed it to operate where smaller vessels would be crushed instantly. Chen used her ship's weapon systems not to destroy but to carefully disrupt the gravitational fields holding the singularity together. All stations. This is Chen. Her voice came through the intercepted communications. We're going to collapse that singularity, but we need to extract every person on that station first. Rescue teams prepare for emergency deployment. Kairos watched in amazement as human military personnel risked their lives repeatedly to save civilians they had never met. Shuttles launched from the Prometheus into the chaotic gravity fields, their pilots threading impossible courses to reach trapped researchers. The same ship that had terrified the Confederation was now serving as a platform for the most selfless rescue operation Kairos had ever witnessed. The operation took 16 hours. The humans saved every single person on the research station, then used their terrifying weapons to carefully collapse the artificial singularity before it could threaten nearby systems. When it was over, Captain Chen's crew celebrated not their technical success, but the fact that no lives had been lost. This changes everything, Kairos transmitted back to Confederation space. These humans are not conquerors. They are protectors. Their weapons exist to defend, not to attack. We have misunderstood them completely. The message reached High Counselor Thymus as the Confederation was finalizing evacuation plans for their border colonies. The ancient leader read Kairos's report 3 times before calling an emergency session of the full council. Members of the Confederation, Thymus announced to the assembled representatives, we have made a grave error in judgment. The species we feared as potential conquerors may actually be the protectors we have always sought. The council chamber erupted in confused discussion. Centuries of peaceful expansion had not prepared them for such a fundamental misunderstanding. As Kairos's detailed observations were shared, a new picture of humanity emerged. The humans had evolved on a dangerous world, surrounded by natural threats that required constant vigilance to survive. Their military tradition grew not from aggression toward others, but from the need to protect their own people from a hostile environment. When they reached space, they brought this protective instinct with them. They build warships the way we build hospitals, observed the representative from Altair 7, not because they love conflict, but because they understand that strength prevents suffering. 3 days later, Captain Chen received an unexpected message on a frequency she had never encountered before. The translation was rough, but the meaning was clear. A request for peaceful contact from the Confederation of Species they had briefly encountered weeks earlier. Admiral Torres, Chen reported to her superior, it appears our mysterious visitors want to try first contact again. They're requesting a meeting at neutral coordinates. Admiral Marcus Torres, a veteran of humanity's early expansion period, studied the message carefully. "What's your assessment, Captain?" "They seem genuinely peaceful, sir. The message includes technical specifications for their communication systems and what appears to be cultural exchange protocols. If they wanted conflict, they wouldn't be offering to share technology." "Very well. Proceed with standard first contact procedures, but maintain full defensive readiness. We've learned to hope for the best while preparing for the worst." The meeting took place in empty space between the two civilizations' territories. Captain Chen brought the Prometheus and a small escort, while the Confederation sent Commander Zephyr's gentle current accompanied by ships representing each member species. As the two fleets approached each other, Kairos monitored communications from his concealed position. The moment was tense, with both sides uncertain of the other's intentions. Captain Chen opened communications first. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force vessel Prometheus. We come in peace and friendship, Commander." Zephyr's response carried the musical tones of relief. "This is Commander Zephyr of the Confederation ship Gentle Current. We apologize for our hasty departure during our first encounter. We misunderstood your intentions." "No apology necessary," Chen replied warmly. "First contacts can be confusing for everyone involved. We're just glad you decided to try again." Over the following hours, the two species began the delicate process of true communication. The Confederation representatives were amazed to learn that human military doctrine was entirely defensive in nature. Humanity's ships were heavily armed because they had learned that visible strength prevented conflicts before they could begin. "We build our ships to look intimidating," Chen explained during the cultural exchange, "because a potential aggressor who sees our defensive capabilities will usually choose negotiation over conflict. It's more efficient than fighting wars." Commander Zephyr found this concept fascinating. "So your weapons exist to ensure they are never used?" "Exactly. The best battles are the ones that never happen because everyone involved chooses peaceful solutions instead." The meeting concluded with the signing of a formal first contact agreement and plans for extensive cultural and technological exchange. The Confederation offered their advanced research and exploration technologies, while humanity provided defensive expertise and protection services. High Counselor Thymus, participating via quantum communication link, made the final statement that would define the new relationship. "The Confederation has always sought to explore the universe in peace. Now, with humanity as our protectors, we can explore it in safety as well." As the two fleets parted ways, Agent Kairos emerged from hiding and transmitted his final report. "Mission complete. First contact successful. Recommendation: full integration. Protocols with the human species. They represent everything we value, protected by everything we lack." The misunderstanding that had nearly led to war instead became the foundation for the strongest alliance either civilization would ever know. The Confederation provided knowledge and wisdom, while humanity provided the strength to protect both civilizations from the genuine threats that existed in the darker corners of the galaxy. Years later, when other species encountered the joint Confederation human fleets, they would see exactly what both civilizations intended: peaceful explorers protected by guardian warriors, expanding knowledge and safety throughout the stars. The alliance that began with fear ended with friendship, and the galaxy became a safer place for everyone.